Howdy. I'm, where am I? I'm in Arkansas somewhere, driving. And for those uninitiated to my mispronunciations, that's Arkansas. I just passed through Little Rock, home of the corrupt Clintons. And I'm on my way to a place called Ozark, Arkansas, which I'm going to spend the night. Making my way west again. Got a friend in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I'm going to be with, go hang out with for a couple days after tonight, probably, or next night or so. Beautiful day. Been raining a little bit the last couple days. I miss Florida already. I'll tell you about my plans down there soon as I sort of manifest and get it together. A couple thoughts into mind as I'm driving here away, thinking, looking at the world, and as you know, I say it every time I get on here, the world's on fire. Our own United States just seems to be upside down. I mean, they just raided President Trump's Mar-a-Lago. There is so much more to that story than you're hearing, or at least if you're listening to the mainstream media, so much more to it. But on its surface, it's basically illegal and unconstitutional. And that's okay. It's not okay, but it's just the rule of law seems almost gone to the people that are in power right now. And the thing is, this is sort of important in everything that I've talked about in context. I've said this over and over. The people need to be shown, they can't be told. And people are waking up in mass. I'm seeing it in my travels here. What I do when I travel a lot, yes, I have fun, but I help people with their health, service work, and I help what I call red pilling people. I'm here for the people that are ready to answer questions of a lot of things. And more people are questioning the mainstream narrative, the stuff they've been told to think for years and years and years. They're starting to wake up. This is what's needed. So people need to be shown, they can't be told, and all these shenanigans going on right in front of our eyes, they're not even trying to hide it anymore, is waking people up. So it's a boomerang effect. And it's going to be even more. Let's just take the Mar-a-Lago thing, for instance. It's a setup in some ways, but that sets precedent. The FBI and the DOJ, they raided a former president's home. And all the information will come out, but it sets precedent, meaning this can be done again.
There's a speed trap ahead.
Let's say, for instance, Hillary's house or Obama's house or things like that. It sets precedent. So this is all laying the groundwork for a lot of things that are going to happen in the future, legally. Not violently, but legally. But I like to talk about a word that's being used a lot, Psyop. Do you know what Psyop is? It's basically a short for psychological operation. And that's been going on forever. Countries, governments, people have used that forever. It's basically a manipulation technique to control the way you think or get you to think the way, say, certain leaders or powers that be want you to think. I always forget who said it in communism, in the Nazi regime, but basically if you tell a lie long enough and hard enough and you keep telling the lie over and over, it becomes truth. That in essence is a psychological operation. You tell a lie long enough, get people to believe it. They believe it as gospel. They believe it as truth. And so if you were to use the mainstream media, say you owned it, for instance, and I'm sure it is owned, I've talked about this, and you completely use the news cycle to put out messages over and over for years, decades, you're going to believe that. You trust the news. And why not? Why not trust it? You're going to believe what they tell you. And this is operation on every single level of our lives, society. You know, this is not as insidious, but something that always struck me as a child. And in a form, it's sort of a psychological operation, or maybe it could be another word. But let's use in Christianity Jesus, the way it's depicted. And this always bothered me when I was a kid growing up Catholic. Jesus was never, he's portrayed as basically a blue-eyed, Swiss-looking hipster. Look at all the paintings and things of him. He's not. He's a Middle Eastern man, Jewish, Arab Middle Eastern man. And so that's sort of something that I like to point out sometimes, that we've sort of here in our culture here shown things that we tend to believe but not really think it through. not saying that's very harmful, but it's just a thought. There's a lot of things that are depicted where if you look around hard enough or look further, it's really not as it seems. Jesus was not a Swiss-looking, blue-eyed hipster. So that's kind of the general point I'm trying to get. And it goes back to what I've said on all my social medias and everything. Question everything. Everything. I do. I question everything. I'm a President Trump supporter, but I question that. At the end of the day, I use all the information that I get, and I read everything. The far left, the far right, all the alternative stuff, all the tinfoil hat stuff. And I put it in the hopper and use my discernment at the end of the day. Your gut, your discernment, your women's intuition if you're a woman, your inner soul, whatever you want to call it. It's never led me astray. Never. It's always my true north. So, that's a little bit on the road. I better get back to driving again, and I will talk to y'all soon.